Okay, here we go. JV wins, Dogon SS. We are here live and in effect. Conscious approach, stream number fill in the blank. Still haven't made that count yet. Don't know how many streams we've done. One of these days, I'm going to count them out to see how many we've done so that I can announce it at the beginning of every stream number, whatever it is. But we are back, nevertheless. Conscious approach on YouTube. We are in the building. JV wins, Dogon SS, your friendly neighborhood podcasters with a brain, doing what we do each and every week, kicking this logical content. Thanks to everybody who has been subscribing to the channel. We certainly appreciate the support. And thanks in advance to anyone who will do so moving forward. We appreciate you as well as we continue to kick this logical content. Go ahead and like any of the videos, man. Just engage us, leave a comment, do whatever you got to do. Let us know that you're out there. We certainly appreciate the feedback as we continue to evolve the commentary and the things that we like to do over here. So just like to put that little disclaimer out there before we get started. But the biggest thing obviously is we like the engagement, and we certainly appreciate everyone who's clicked on those buttons and helped our content get served up, because we do think that we offer a unique variety of commentary juxtaposed to everything that you may see going around on YouTube. So thanks to everybody out there. Yeah, I think so. That's what I think. Yeah. But okay, so with that out of the way, man, we are going to go ahead and get started. It has been a bit of a minute since we talked about LeBron James. He is also a friend of the channel. Talk about him a fair bit whenever he is trending. The reason why I wanted to talk about LeBron and the Lakers on today's stream is because if you follow sports, you know that the NBA play-in tournament begins almost as of the time of this recording. Tuesday, April the 16th, the Lakers Pelicans game starts 8 o'clock Eastern time. So that's the first play-in game. Lakers are in the play-in. The Lakers win tonight. They're in the playoffs as the 7th seed. If they lose, then they play one more single elimination game to determine the 8th seed. But the reason why I wanted to talk about LeBron and the Lakers today is because once the seedings got figured out at the conclusion of the regular season, there was a lot of chatter that I started to see on the media outlets, whether it was ESPN or Fox, NBA radio. I consume a lot of this sports stuff. And much to my dismay, there was a lot of chatter about whether the Lakers should pretty much purposefully lose the first play-in game so that they can play for the 8th seed and have to play Oklahoma City in the first round instead of the Denver Nuggets. Now, there was a part of me once I saw the seedings that thought about that. There was a small part of me that was like, what if these dudes try to lose on purpose to avoid playing Denver? But then I kind of immediately dismissed it because I was like, who would do that, right? They're pros. No one's going to do that. But then the fans started getting flamed on credible media outlets, ESPN. They're talking about it on First Take and Get Up. So now we got to talk about it, because now there's some credibility that was at least given to the idea that these guys should lose this game on purpose. Hence why we are talking about it on tonight's stream. Now, one of the individuals in the media who I firmly put into the LeBron acolyte camp, Mike Greenberg. Mike Greenberg has been slurping LeBron pretty much since his early days in Cleveland. I think Mike Greenberg is in the LeBron is the greatest of all time camp. But during Monday's episode of Get Up, Greenberg was the first person to suggest the Lakers should, from a strategic standpoint, position themselves to lose the game so that they can duck the Denver Nuggets in the first round. So here we go. This was a recap of that airing of Get Up from Athlon Sports. This says Mike Greenberg suggests the Lakers should intentionally lose first play-in game versus Pelicans. The Los Angeles Lakers finished the 2023-24 NBA regular season at 47-35 and in 8th place in the Western Conference. As a result, The LA franchise will need to get through 7 seed New Orleans in a play-in game on Tuesday to formally earn a trip to the West playoffs. ESPN's Mike Greenberg, however, doesn't think the Lakers should even take the court for tomorrow's play-in game against the Pelicans. He believes the Lakers should intentionally fall to New Orleans in order to instead earn the 8 seed by beating the winner of the 9 versus 10 play-in game, which would be the winner out of Golden State and Sacramento. The goal behind Greenberg's plan: avoid playing the 2 seed Denver Nuggets in the first round. The Lakers should not play tomorrow night, Greenberg said. They should not play LeBron. They should not play AD. They should not want to be the 7 seed. You want to be the 8. I'm taking my chances in a one and done at home against either Sacramento or Golden State and go win against a very young OKC Thunder in round 1 instead of going into the buzzsaw that is Denver. I think it is worth the risk. So that was what he said on Get Up, but I'm also going to play the clip of him saying this. And we don't got to worry too much about any kind of copyright strike because ESPN don't do that. I do know that much, so I think we're good there. Plus, this is on Twitter anyway. So what are you gonna do? Copyright us for something that we should? Yeah, it's on Twitter. So here is exactly what Mike Greenberg had to say on that episode of Get Up, suggesting the Lakers should lose on purpose so that they can play the Oklahoma City in the 8 seed.
I'm going to say something in duck, because I know that it is controversial, and I know that it flies in the face of absolutely everything the spirit of competition was born to create. And you just said, Herman Edwards, you play to win the game. The Lakers should not play tomorrow night. They should not play LeBron. They should not play AD. They do not want to be the 7 seed. You want to be the 8. I'm taking my chances in a one and done at home against either Sacramento or Golden State and go in against the very young OKC Thunder in round 1 instead of going into the buzzsaw that is Denver. I think it is worth the risk.
Everything you said is right, except for one thing. You put yourself into a one-off situation. Okay, where you lose one game, you're going home for the summer if you lose that second night, right? This is different with the Knicks. You're talking about win or lose determines your seeding.
Right.
You still have a best-of-7 series you're about to go play, right? And the better team will win that series. This is different. Like, you lose that game intentionally, you put yourself into a situation where you're playing the winner of the 9-10, and anything could happen. Somebody gets hurt. Somebody gets in foul trouble. D'Angelo Russell goes 1 for 14. Like, there's so many things could happen in one game.
Yes.
And you find yourself going home for the summer.
I
think that's a little bit more precarious.
I recognize the risk, but I think life is about assessing risk, reward. Is it worth that risk to avoid Denver in round 1 or 2? There's no one who can look. The Nuggets are the one team the Lakers have no chance to beat. Realistically, no chance to beat. And you know who knows that? LeBron James knows that. They got swept by the Nuggets last year. That is a matchup they are hoping someone else knocks off Denver along the way. To me, Alan, I understand the risk. And if you wind up losing at home Friday night to Sacramento or Golden State, you wind up looking terrible. But I think it is a risk.
Okay, so, I mean, now, he's being 100% serious there. For anybody who is not familiar with that program and his work, there was no facetiousness in any of what he was saying there. He was dead ass serious as he was saying this. He 100% believes this stuff to be true. And, you know, I was hoping that reason would get the best of most people with credible voices in the media, but then I just started to hear this more. I heard on First Take. I heard it on, I was watching, I think Cowherd even said it, which really hurt my heart because Cowherd is my favorite. Cowherd said they should do it. He says it's smart and strategy. Now, on First Things First, surprisingly, perhaps, you know, the second biggest LeBron lover in the media after Shannon Sharpe, Nick Wright, disagrees. He doesn't think they should do this. But I just heard this a lot. And, you know, at first I was going to ignore it. I wasn't going to broach it as a topic on this channel. But because it was said so much over the course of the last 24 hours, I couldn't help myself. So what do you think of what Greenberg had to say there? Do you think he's right? Do you think others like him are right? Do these people have a point, and that the Lakers should try to position themselves to get the number 8 seed so that they can play the Oklahoma City in the first round of playoffs instead of Denver? Do you think they have a point with this?
There's a point to be made within it. That doesn't mean I agree with it. The point that is agreeable is that they have a better shot against OKC than Denver. And for OKC, for all intents and purposes, they should win. But I can see that going south for them real quick due to their inexperience. And it might be like how the Heat were when the Heat played OKC in the finals that year. We got every call. We got every call. And OKC got so caught up in complaining that it was just like, yeah, y'all not the Dallas Mavericks. See, the Dallas Mavericks know the game within the game. They understand that when odds are stacked against them. The San Antonio Spurs knew when the odds were stacked up against them. So when we played that young OKC team, they couldn't believe that the calls were going that way, so much so they got lost. And we just destroyed them due to their inexperience. So one thing that the Lakers, they don't have that advantage against Denver. So they're better off playing a younger OKC team. Narratively speaking, they can get away with that. So it is their best shot. However, that doesn't mean that I agree with the concept of losing within competition. So that's the part I don't agree with. And that's the over glaring thing there. This part has to come first before we start talking about strategy against Denver and OKC. And first of all, y'all shouldn't even be in this position.
Thank you.
And then on top of that, once y'all, like if Genghis Khan or Genghis, however it's really pronounced, was a head coach in the NBA, he's winning this game. This guy's all about competition and dominating your opponents. And he will stay up late nights strategizing on how to beat these teams. And he would install in their minds the power of winning all the time and not losing games for if you want strategy, you better out X and O them. So I really think it's a pathetic media narrative point to justify them trying to do this. And it's a soft blow. They're throwing it out there. So once it happened, it looks genius. And it's a cop-out if they actually lose while they're trying to win. It's a genius play because they were strategically, it's too much with this guy and this stuff. So those are my initial thoughts, sir. What you say? Do you agree with this concept? Losing to fall to the 8th seed just to play OKC?
If strategy was the motivation behind this, why isn't anyone talking about who should lose in the East to jockey for position to get into the 7th seed so that they can avoid the Celtics?
Why is that not a talking point?
Like why is if it's about strategy, why is no one talking about that? Because the Celtics are more imposing in terms of the Eastern Conference than Denver is in terms of the West. So if it's about strategery, you're strategically placing yourself in a position to be able to advance further. Why are they not talking about losing? Why are they not talking about either the Sixers or the Heat making sure that they win tonight so that they can get the 7 and avoid the Celtics in round 1? No one's saying that because it has nothing to do with strategy and it has to do with LeBron. I'm sorry, man. This is not about strategy. It's not about sports. This is about LeBron. This is a LeBron media narrative. That's what it is. Like, what's the one at this point, like the people who are like trying to advocate so hard for LeBron to be the greatest player of all time, people like Shannon Sharp, Nick Wright, people like what's Marcus Spears, um,
Kendrick
Mark
Perkins.
Greenberg. Like, what is it that these people can't say that LeBron has the best championship resume? That's they can't say that. They can say he went to the finals 9 straight times, but they can't combat the fact that other players have a better win-loss record in the finals, have a better winning percentage in the finals. They can't combat that. And they know that that's the one bullet in the holster that they just don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever this is why I'm ready for LeBron to retire, frankly. Because every single postseason we have to deal with this. And it has nothing to do with competition or strategy. It has to do with how can we create any possible scenario that sees the team that LeBron is on advancing far enough to potentially win him another championship. So that if he gets his 5th ring, maybe we have an even stronger case for him being the greatest player of all time. That's what this is. It has nothing to do with strategy. It has nothing to do with sports. It has nothing to do with seedings. And it has everything to do with we need LeBron to best position himself to be universally declared as the greatest player ever. And so long as he is 4-10 in the finals, or whatever his win-loss record is, 4-9, 4-10. Well, I think it's 4-10.
No,
As long as it's
because he been 10 times. Yeah.
Right, 4-6. Okay, so as long as it's 4-6, they can't combat 6 for 6 with Mike. You can't combat even guys like I love Kobe. You can't combat 5 for 7, which is what Kobe did. Like, it's hard to combat that if the ultimate goal is winning the championship, and he's 4-6. So the thing is, what do we need to do to continue to push this forcefully? Oh, now we need to talk about what his team needs to do in order to get to the promised land this year, because they're essentially, from a matchup standpoint, kind of dead in the water if we're looking at what's happened historically up to this point. Matchup wise, it just doesn't look good against Denver. And the acolytes in the media know this. So what can we do? How can we sort of, via osmosis, put something out into the universe that we can pray to God it comes true? What if the Lakers lose tonight? Then perhaps they can play Oklahoma City in the first round, and who knows what happens leading up to the conference finals. Maybe somebody on Denver gets hurt. Maybe they get fatigued along the way, and so by the time they play the Lakers in the conference finals, maybe they stand a better chance. All of these different scenarios, and it literally is nothing more than trying to jockey for position to have the opinion of LeBron being the greatest player of all time become less of an opinion and more of an objective fact. Because these people can't help themselves. They need LeBron to be universally known as the greatest player ever. And the one chip preventing that from being the case is a better win-loss record in the finals and more chips. It's really the only thing. It's the only thing, really. Now, in my opinion, at this point, he can get to 6. He still wouldn't be the greatest ever for me. I've just seen too much transpire throughout the course of his career. But in terms of media narratives and what they'll be able to say and make it seem like it's actually a matter of fact at this point, they'll be able to push it if he's able to win more chips. That's what this is about. It's because it's him and the team he's on. It don't even got nothing to do with the Lakers. It's because the Lakers happen to be the team he's on. If he was playing for the New York Knicks, they'd be doing the same thing with the Knicks. Because they just it's an insatiable desire on the part of these people to have it be universally declared that LeBron is the greatest player ever. And it's ridiculous, but they'll veil it as competition and they'll veil it as strategy. Well, if it's about strategy, let's talk about why the Heat need to lose the 7-8 game, or let's talk about why the Heat need to make sure that they win the 7-8 game so that they can get the 7 seed. And play the Knicks in the first round, since the Knicks are the 2 seed. No one's talking about what's going on out east. And we got the same thing. In my opinion, it's even more exacerbated because of how dominant the Celtics have been all year in the East.
Exactly.
So where is the language, the conversations, the segments going on that front? since we want to talk about strategy in playoff basketball. But the strategy in playoff basketball when it comes to losing games on purpose specifically applies only to the Lakers. I wonder why. And these people will never stop. They'll never rest. Greenberg, Nick Wright, Shannon. Now, let me take Nick Wright out of it, to be fair, because Nick Wright said the Lakers shouldn't lose on purpose. But Greenberg, Greenberg, Shannon Sharp, and the rest of these annoying LeBron fans in the media, Marcus Spears, and these people they just will not rest. They won't give it up.
Mhm.
They won't give it up. The guy who's on Cowherd right now, Jason McIntyre, he's another one, thinks LeBron is the greatest ever. These people just will not stop. And reasonable sports fans like me have to listen to this year after year, which is why I'm serious when I say I'm ready for him to retire, so that I can just be over. We can just move on with this crap, because I'm tired of it every year. And it's like, hey man, y'all don't want to play Denver in the first round. Y'all think that the Lakers are so good that they're championship worthy. Why didn't they win more games in the regular season so that they can be 3, 4, or 5? Do better in the regular season so that you're not in this situation. No one talks about that, though. We're just talking about they're the playing team and they need to duck a team by losing on purpose. It's absolutely disgusting, but not surprising, because when you're dealing with LeBron in the playoffs every year, you're going to get this. And it's just annoying. It's almost as annoying as Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. It's annoying. So I'm going to be here to watch these games regardless. When LeBron retires, I'm still watching the league. I don't need him here. And I really don't need him here because I no longer need to have to deal with this every year. And I'm sure that there are many fans out there who follow the league who feel the same way that I do. Like, get over it. He's not going to win any more chips. Like, it's over. Just get over it. It's a done deal. Stop trying to jerry-rig these scenarios so that you can hope to God that LeBron wins more chips so that you can get on TV and say he's the greatest player ever. Because at the end of the day, that's all these people really want to be able to do.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I agree, but you're gonna always have the LeBronites, so they will exist forever. So, but the longer he stays into the league, because you got to get something out of this. So I figure the longer he stays, the more he exposes himself, and that's what's going on. Hopefully the objective eye can really look at what he's done throughout his career, and it's even laughable that people even consider him top 5. I feel like that's a push on these narratives and talking points. But when you was naming out chips and stuff like that, I had to look down to just check how many Tim Duncan had. Tim Duncan had 5.
5, yeah.
And if we're starting a franchise and they say, who do you want, LeBron or Tim Duncan? I'm taking Tim Duncan. If somebody say, if you starting a franchise, you want LeBron or you want Kobe, I want Kobe. I can go down the list on this, doing this. You want Bird or you want LeBron? I want Bird. I'll go down the list, and the more he plays, the more he gets exposed. Hey, look, listen, people. All this stuff that the Lakers teams is trash. The Lakers team is trash. They proved it this season on numerous occasions. When LeBron's not there, they're beating teams that they should not be beating. And so that doesn't speak to a lack of talent. And so whenever LeBron gets into the lineup, the ball becomes stagnant. There's no rotation. He's a bad basketball player. He's extremely selfish. So part of these narratives and talking points was that he makes his teammates better, and he doesn't. Westbrook is winning everywhere his entire career until he starts playing around with LeBron. He
makes specific teammates better. Not everybody. He makes spot up 3-point shooters better.
And that's not saying anything.
Right.
That's not saying anything. And Westbrook took the Wizards to the playoffs. So Westbrook comes to the Lakers and he's a bum. Then he goes over to the Clippers and he's like 6-man type guy of the year type thing. He gets injured, the Clippers start falling off. Like, he's an important person. So I say all this stuff to say is that the more he plays, the more he's going to get exposed. And it's also a travesty how they don't promote these other teams that are number one. There's no reason why SGA doesn't get enough pub. There's no reason why Jokic doesn't get enough pub. I mean, what the guy's been doing for the last 5 years is absurd. And the slander for Luka. Hey, look, man, it's whatever. This stuff is a slow bopping thing, but he be crushing these dudes. Come stop him if you don't like it. Nobody can stop him. So the mere fact that he's not even in MVP conversations for what he's doing is also like funny to me. So there's a lot of stuff where the league is just dropping the ball on promoting players. Why do we always have to hear about this man? They're trying to get into the playoffs, and he's the talking point of everything going on. It's ridiculous. This is the part about it I don't understand. And I can see if of course the league is in bed with these media companies, so they want to promote stars and have stars be the thing and the drawing in thing and building up people and building, but they have so much fertile ground to be trying to at least build up the future generation instead of always investing in this dinosaur. So, hey man, objectively watch him play and just watch how he's not a good teammate, how he doesn't play good defense. I mean, it's very obvious. So, and let's see them win a game when they're not shooting 30 plus free throws. So if they lose this game, whatever, we'll see. I don't see them not getting to the playoffs. I feel like the league gonna let them in. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see the free throw discrepancies. But yeah, man, I'm over this clown. And people are just running up the stats. I don't have them in front of me, but they've shot their free throw differential is almost 1,000 within the last 2 years. 300 whatever. I forgot, it's something dumb like that. So go look up the numbers for the free throw differential, but it's astronomically more than everybody else. Why? And then they also break down the numbers of, we drive it to the basket. Then they broke it down of how often they drive to the lane. And it's like 16th or whatever. So it's like, why are y'all way up here? Why isn't the number one team that drives to the lane for the past 2 years not shooting the most free throws? So we'll see what happens, man. This stuff is such a joke. The NBA is falling over itself. I don't know what they got going on in their offices, but they're clearly dropping the ball. And that's why the ratings are dipping. So they can keep investing in this dinosaur, man. This pencil don't want to crank up no more. People can still sit there and try to glaze this man if they want to. But at this point, those are just honestly fanboys who are just part of the cult. But if somebody's objective, watch this clown play. You wouldn't take him over a lot of people if you objectively think about it. So this GOAT stuff is all narrative.
It is, but it's become an obsession that has overtaken the sport that's otherwise enjoyable without it, and it's annoying. That's why I'm ready for him to retire. Like, honestly, because he's trying to be a mogul and all of this kind of stuff, and he has these production companies. He needs to start his own network, the LeBron James Network, and everybody who works in all of these other media companies who love LeBron needs to just quit their current job and just go work for the LeBron Network. That way I know that I can just escape all of this stuff by just not tuning into his network, because I'll at least get some objectivity when it comes to LeBron on these other stations. And you got a few people who are trying to hold it down and be reasonable, but just the amount of incessant, nonstop, how do we figure out how to get LeBron into the finals so that we can continue this greatest player of all time train, it's become exhausting. It was exhausting for me 10 years ago.
I know.
I thought that it was going to die down once it became clear that he was no longer the best player in the league and his teams were going to be like middle to the bottom of the conference, and he's not going to be playing in a lot of the games, and he's still going to put his numbers up because he's so ball dominant and his usage rate is so high. So he's still going to get his 25 plus and his 7+ rebounds and his 8+ assists. He has a high usage rate. So he's still going to get that. But like, I thought that we were going to start getting over this once he won a weirdo pandemic championship. And since then it's been play-in. But it seems like it's only gotten louder since they started doing play-in stuff. Like, since his team started vying for play-ins and lower seeds, It's like it got worse. Make that make sense,
bro. It's
so and the thing about it is, this is the last thing I'll say, and I'm done.
Mhm.
I'll probably hold LeBron, like, in all honesty, because it sounds like I really am. I am a LeBron hater. I am, but I'm fine with that. But I hold LeBron in higher regard, I think, than you do. Like, I don't know that I would go past 5 all time for him personally.
I would.
Right. So I think you and I even differ on that. But even though you and I differ on that, I can't stand this obsession with trying to force the idea that he's the greatest player ever down everybody's throats through the mainstream media. And that's what causes people like me to root against him and to want to see him retire, because you can just let the career speak for itself instead of doing segment after segment, trying to jerry rig this into the conversation so that people like me who are on the fence or who don't agree have to see your side of it. Like, there's this weird dogmatic approach that's been attached to LeBron when it comes to the NBA and the coverage of the NBA that I personally resent. And I'm over it. And that's why I really can't wait I will watch these games if he's in it or not. So when he retires, I'm not going to cry a river. I'm good. I'm ready for him to be retired. I really am. And it ain't because of him personally. It's because of stuff like this. It's because of stuff like credible people in the media getting on national television and saying that his teams need to lose on purpose so that they can perhaps go further in the playoffs. And you know why you want him to go further, so that you can continue to kick that noise. I'm just tired of it.
Well, I'm just say this, that it's not going to stop.
I know, but I ain't gonna stop complaining about it neither.
Yeah, I'm saying, because he'll retire, but the narratives are going to keep going, as we're seeing right now with the JJ Redick podcast. That whole agenda about that, was about him just making excuses about everything. So it's just like, bro, I ain't have enough help. I ain't have enough this. And he's exposing himself. The more he talks, see, his narcissism has no choice but to come out.
Yeah.
So he was better off being quiet. But, like a true narcissist, he's got to let everybody know what's on his mind. And so he's going to sit there and he's going to expose himself by all his excuses that he's had over the years that he's justified, with an elementary mind. Never grew up and matured to say, you know what, that was my fault. He's still blaming people. I saw a clip of Eddie House. I'll send it to you. Eddie House was like, hey, bro, I was on that team. What, you talking about me? I didn't even get a chance to get in the game, bro. So how was I able to help you? I know who was in the game. Yeah. The more he talks, the more he's going to look foolish. The more people are going to dig into these things, these accounts where he's claiming he didn't have enough help. And right now, even at this point, claiming he ain't got enough help. So, hey, man, I'm going for hours about this dude. But yeah, man, but yeah, I agree with you. But at the same time, bro, this is like he really wants this legacy thing. So we're going to hear about this after his retirement. I didn't think I was going to hear Jordan named this much after his retirement. I'm low key tired of that. There was other players in that generation who was balling. We don't always have to focus on who was the greatest. Let's focus on, other people, because there was a lot of people that shine in the 90s and, in the 80s. But, I feel like there's too much Jordan worship. There's too much at the top worship and not enough appreciation for hoopers that were just hooping. So the whole narrative needs to change. That whole GOAT stuff started with ESPN, and I'm over it. Yeah, and that started like 20 years ago. I'm over it, man.
Yeah, the Jordan stuff doesn't so much bother me because I agree with it, number one, obviously. But then also with Jordan, it's like when he retired in 1998, it was like in retrospect, then we started getting into that GOAT stuff, kind of. We've been hearing this stuff with LeBron since he's been in Cleveland the first stint.
Yep.
Ever since he started putting up all of these numbers and losing, going 60. I can go on for hours too. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the guy ever since he started, having the best record in the league, 66-16. And then you lose in the conference semifinals, not even the conference finals. You lost in the conference semifinals to the Orlando Magic in 2009 after going 66-16. The following year, you lose in the conference final. No, the year before that, I think, you're losing in the conference finals to the Celtics, despite being prohibited favorites. You're prohibited favorites and then you wet the bed, and then you have these supporters in the media saying that you didn't have enough help. No one was saying that before him. And when Jordan came, when all of these other players in previous generations came up short, no one was giving the no help card. That was something that started with him. So I'm less offended by the advent of the conversation with people like Jordan than I am with people like him, because I felt like they were trying to force it down the throats of the public before it made sense from a resume standpoint to actually talk about it.
Correct.
And so it's just become aggravating. It's just annoying. So I'm over it. I'm ready for him to retire. It's a done deal. Like, he's not winning any more championships, people. He's not. It's over. So just deal with the fact that you're going to have to argue his merits against people who don't think he's the greatest player ever, and not have it and not have your argument strengthened by his increased ring count, because that ring count is not going to come. It's done.
Hey,
Over
man.
this, bro.
Most all NBA players, most all stars, most Olympians. This guy's played with everybody, and he still got less than Tim Duncan. Give me a break, bro.
Shouts out to John Morant, member of the tribe, checked in. I got this shirt from Target, bro. This is a Target shirt. He was asking about my X-Men shirt.
Oh yeah,
this is a Target shirt, bro. And he agrees too. He agrees with what we're saying about this Lebanon guy, man. I'm just over it, man. I'm tired of dealing with this every single offseason. Like, not offseason, but postseason. Like, enough. And it's all about him jockeying for position to be the greatest ever. That's all it's about.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. Oh, hey, make sure you guys hit like and subscribe, by the way.
Yeah.